From the gutter, staring at the stars, driving fast in slow cars. I was happy. She was just content, and the years came and went. Like butter cutting through the knife, when she left, she broke my mind. If she's happy, I don't want to know. No, I don't want to know. Welcome along to the Guy and Harley podcast. My name is Harry Navel. Cool, don't worry about that. Good start to the show. So welcome along to episode 182 of the Guy and Harley podcast. Yep. Yeah, which puts our screening back another week after me confidently saying and posting on Facebook. I got to stop posting shit on Facebook. Confidently saying that we'd have the screening, even if it was on level 2.5, because I was under the impression that you could do that at the time because the cinemas are playing. I was like, oh, cool. So there's a way to do this because the cinemas are having screenings at the moment in New Zealand on level 2.5, and there's 100 people in a room. They've all paid tickets to get there, and they're all watching a movie while they're socially distanced from one another. That's all we're doing. We're doing the exact same thing. 100 people. We'll follow the limits. We'll do the social distancing. We've got the hand sanitizer. We'll wear the masks. We'll do all the stuff. But evidently, it's one of those pedantic little law things where it's about definition. And so because of who is paying for this film to play and the paperwork associated with it, it means that we are a private hire as opposed to just a regular public screening. And so for that reason, we can't have our screening in level 2.5. It's the bureaucracy. There's always the madness of bureaucracy. Safety measures, sure, absolutely. I'm all for them. I'm all about them. But sometimes you got to be able to, bend the rules a little when there's clearly a situation where the rule is not quite relevant. Like in this particular case, we want to put 100 people socially distanced in a room to watch a movie. And that's what they're doing all day, every day. And I'm not blaming the cinema. It's the rules, and they've got to follow them, and we're going to follow them. But it is a little annoying.
Like law-abiding citizens, we're going to follow. So my volume was a bit low. In fact, it was off at one point. I think it's on now.
Okay. Excellent start to the show.
Your Skype video feed is going crazy.
Jumping all over the show.
There we go. That's cool. Well, we'll just keep it. Let's keep it as it is for now. See. So. The real issue is that it's like, the rules keep changing, right? The rules keep shifting. And it's like, hey, you'll definitely hear this at this point. It's just another week. And it's like, oh, well, we've got plans. Yeah. Like the whole country has plans. Auckland City has plans.
We've got first world problems.
And it's about half the volume of Harley's. Shit. Okay. I've got to turn myself up a little bit more.
Yep. Okay.
Thank you, Tyler. He's just advising us on the live stream that I was about half. So
that's what a technical producer does.
So
Tyler, the technical producer. That's what we should start calling him. He watches the show anyway, so he could be the TP. His job is to keep us on track. His job is to tell us when things are wrong with the show and to moderate the chat. You've got a job, kid. This is it. Your big break.
Welcome to show business. So it's kind of like, but also it's just like, you can't tell me that our cinema screening is any worse than the madness of my gym. There's less than 100 people at the gym. Well, that's lucky because it couldn't fit 100 people before the pandemic.
So there's no restriction whatsoever.
So like they're just rocking. Like honestly, I walk in there and I'm just like, no one's wiping down anything. You know, people are going past each other. You know, no one's really a meter apart. And then suddenly, but then in the cinema where we can actually do it properly, they're like, nah, it's too dangerous. Too dangerous. Well, then shut my bloody gym and give me back my membership fee that I just paid.
Yeah.
They just...
Well, the thing is, unfortunately, you can't do the rules that way where you go, you shouldn't be doing this because that does that. Because then you just never get anything done because there's always going to be some sort of exception which is going to fuck it up for you. And next thing you know, it's just a never ending thing. You've got to, you know, yeah. Fuck it. I'm not going back to the gym. Fuck it. I was thinking about going to the gym because, you know, I haven't worked out in literally a year since I moved house. I pretty much have stopped working out. And now I'm at my flabby, flaccid best.
You're flabby, flaccid,
floppy muscled
peak. Yeah.
Well, floppy muscled and older than I've ever been before. But I am not fatter than I've ever been before. So at least my weight's all right.
Yeah. So you at least you're winning.
But I haven't been going is the point. And I'm not going during a worldwide pandemic. I mean, I thought gyms were gross before.
I'm not fatter than I've ever been before, but that's only because at points I've been quite fat. But I'm definitely, that's the problem with these hip surgeries is you can't really do anything except sit around eating. Like there's really nothing for it. They're literally saying like, hey, you know, stay off your feet for 6 weeks. So you're like, okay, what should I do?
Keep your energy.
Yeah, it's like, well, what should I do like while I'm sitting down? Well, eat something. It's a good idea, isn't it? I mean, shit. Do you feel hungry? Eat something. And so now I'm just at the beginning of so I've just...
I seem to recall taking you a cream apple
donut. That was the
donut.
Cool. That was the cool.
I was like, what do you need, mate?
Anything cream
you
donut,
want.
thanks.
Anything, give me a cream apple donut from the bakery.
Cream donut with the extra sugar. So now I'm sort of on the road to rehab. I've got the okay from the doctor. He's like, yep, cool. You can now sort of start training again. You can now do things as you did before, but at a much lower volume, and there's certain things that you still can't do. I'm off the big boy potty. Big boy potty is gone. Just the regular size potty now.
Yeah.
So
just a normal little wee baby
little
one.
baby potty, because that's the one I used to use. It's a little baby potty.
It's the same one. It's the same one you've always had. you don't actually poo in the toilet usually. You normally poo in your little potty and then tip it into the toilet.
Because especially if I'm working on something in the studio, saves time. So
that joke lost us a viewer on the live stream. We're on 4, down to 3. Just the hardcores. Just you, me, and Tyler.
Strictly for the hardcores. Well, does the stream count us in the stream?
It does, but I'm actually not monitoring it, and you said you weren't going to. So
not the YouTube.
If you and I,
just the.
I'm not. I'm not monitoring either of them. But you're monitoring one.
No, I'm just looking at restream. So it's only if it's counted in restream itself.
Okay. No. So we're good. We've actually got 3 viewers.
Nice. So I will say, like, just a couple things. I have just I've joined the internet revolution, the internet revolt. And I've got myself an IP blocker. Now, have you heard of these? You heard about these? You know what these do?
Well, something to do with the VPN.
Yep.
And it means you can watch things in different from different parts of the world without. Yeah.
I mean, no point asking the most computer inept person in the world about this, but that is correct. You are right.
That's funny. It's so funny. He calls me the most computer inept person in the world. I taught him everything he knows about OBS. I tell you what, the program we're using to broadcast right now, and he's still not doing a great job. I don't know if he's quite the master that he portrays himself as.
I teach it.
It took me 3 hours to teach him how to work OBS. And he was complaining to me like it was somehow my fault. It's like, you're the fucking student, mate.
Yes, so so I've got myself a VPN, which means that, and I do highly recommend. I think it's called Surf Shack, right? They got a special on at the moment because COVID, right?
Yeah.
And it's sort of like $2 a month or something for 2 years, something ridiculously cheap. It's like $70 for 2 years. Surf Shark maybe.
Yeah.
And anyway, this VPN allows me to watch any version of Netflix. So I'm no longer bound by the shitty New Zealand Netflix and its garbage,
Yeah.
fucking nonsense. I can go anywhere. So,
Yeah. I really need to see Cosmos season 2 with Neil deGrasse
what's
Tyson.
very
I haven't seen it
well,
yet. Can't see it in New Zealand as far as I'm
you
aware.
should maybe invest in this for
Well, Neil would want it
any
that
avid
way.
TV watchers. It would also allow any of our listeners overseas to
Well,
get
what if you're
access.
using somebody else's Netflix?
Well, that's the
If
yep.
I'm watching on someone else's Netflix and they're logged in, it's their
Yep, no,
thing.
you're still good.
It's their
Yep.
login based under their name and all that, but I've just got a login. I can still use any version of Netflix, even with someone else's account, which is based in
Correct.
like New Zealand and not
That's
at my
right.
house. All right.
So pretty sweet deal.
Just wondering.
Just
Just wondering.
Like,
just
so,
checking.
you know, it's not that you.
Because I'm going to be really gutted if that Tinder date changes her password.
How long ago was that Tinder date?
Well, I haven't been on one for 2 years.
So she's really been slack with her password renewals.
Nah, I'm kidding. I've got a 5150 listener has given me his connections. So thank you very much to that 5150 listener who I won't out on the show.
So I went on to the US Netflix and I watched a really good zombie film. Now,
I survived a zombie holocaust.
I did actually
available on Amazon and iTunes,
but
and
not
others.
Netflix. It's not available on Netflix.
Yeah.
No, it's called Alive, and it's I think a South Korean film. So it's a foreign zombie film, and it's basically the idea is this dude is like a gaming bum. He's kind of living your life, Harley, in a way, where he's confined to his room, but he's a super hardcore gamer. And then he lives.
He's succeeded himself.
He lives
to death.
with his parents, and they just go off, and then he kind of fucks around for half a day, right? And he sleeps until 3 p.m. as we all do at some point, right? And so, but it just so happens that when he does that, it's the breakout of the zombie pandemic. And so when he wakes up, the shit has completely hit the fan. And he's in this big high-rise apartment looking out at all this zombie chaos going around beneath him and sort of in the actual apartment. And,
Has he got a sword?
He does not have a sword.
Oh, okay. I feel like I've seen this movie or seen part of this movie before.
It's pretty new, so probably not.
Okay.
But it also a crazy...
It's just derivative of the one
I don't know, but it's pretty cool. It's they got it right in the sense that you need character. You need to know about these people. You need to care about these people, and they've got that part right. Like this kind of slacker gamer, you really start to feel for him and empathize with him and want him to survive this insane zombie outbreak. And plenty of cool zombie action. Plenty of interesting ideas that I haven't really seen before in a zombie film. So highly recommend it. It's called Alive. So check that out when you get your Surfshack VPN and let me know.
Well, you better have a check guy to see if Surfshark or whatever has an affiliate link, because if they have an affiliate link, then that means a referral link. Then that means that you just gave it a big old plug on the show, and then we posted on the podcast page. But if any one of them signs up, bam, you get paid just like that. That's what an influencer does.
Yeah, and that's what I am, an influencer.
An influencer. Yeah.
But yeah, that's really was the big highlight of my week. What about you?
Yeah. Well, you were saying as well that the listeners could do something with a VPN that would help the show.
Well, what they could do,
or help with older. They could watch. I know what they could do, and we're not suggesting you do this. We are not suggesting
we're
you do.
We're not on record on this podcast
suggesting that you do
this right now, because we would never suggest that. On
we
record.
wouldn't. It would be foolish.
On the podcast.
But if you did have a VPN, you could theoretically watch the director's cut of I Survived a Zombie Holocaust, available only by by buying it directly from us on Vimeo. That's theoretically what you could do.
Director's cut of older as well.
Oh, sorry. Is that
You said I Survived a Zombie Holocaust.
Oh, right. I meant older, and you can't actually get I Survived a Zombie Holocaust on Vimeo. Not yet.
Well, you could if you made one of those links, did a few things that we would never do on record.
No. Yes.
But that is also a possibility. But really, it's the director's cut of older that you want to see because it is. You coined a new term for it the other day, which I was actually very impressed with.
Okay, what was that?
The Sextended Edition.
Ah, yeah.
I was like,
that, huh?
genius. It's a little less on the nose than plus. What was it? It's like 4 minutes of extra sex,
bonus
which
sex.
was your previous
extra bonus.
That was your previous pitch on it, and I was like, that's a little on the nose. That's a little almost like we're peddling pornography here, but the Sextended Edition. I like that.
Well, it's not my fault. That is
the difference
between it, isn't it? That is the difference. What's the difference between the normal cut that everyone's got on Amazon and the director's cut? 4 minutes of bonus sex. That's literally the only difference. Thing. There's no other change. There's just 4 more minutes of actual sex. So I can only be honest with the watchers, with the viewers and the listeners.
And shout out to Tyler Adams as well, because I'm sending him over a Blu-ray to test. Now my plan was to send him over a
Blu-ray player to say thank you for all the hard work.
No, my plan was actually to send him like one of the Blu-rays that I'd made, not the fancy ones that had cost a bunch of money, but they sent me over a proof of the Blu-ray, which I thought was a fucking extra, because they're like, cool, we're going to send you a proof to confirm that it's all good and it's all working. They sent me through the proof. I was like, thank you. Yep, it looks all good. And so I sent that one off to Tyler, and then the cheap bastards, they're like, oh, hey, by the way, we made you 24 copies of the Blu-ray. Make sure you put that 5th one back in here. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I've sent that away.
Yeah.
So Tyler, if you could, when you finish with it, send it back.
Send that back.
I'm only joking.
If you could sign it and send it back, then we'll sell it to
also,
someone.
the irony is, it cost me $16 to send it to him, which is actually more than it cost to print. So that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
But it's good because it means we know.
Well, it's an R&D
we
cost.
also know how much extra to charge when we send it over to America now. $16.
Yeah, well, I've been sending DVDs to America for a while now, Zombie Holocaust ones. So I was aware of the $16 price tag. Painfully aware of the $16 price tag just to get it to America on a DVD that I'm charging $29 for, minus the cost of the DVD, which varied between $3 and $5, and I'm pretty sure that maybe not the envelope as well. But then there was
the
my
envelope too,
golden and you had to pay for that? Yeah, okay. So then the envelope on top of that as well, which I covered, and then the gold and silver fancy expensive $20 pens that I bought, which did actually run out over the course of that adventure and had to be bought
they ran
again.
out very quickly, didn't they?
And then you combine that, and then you combine that with the cost of the $30 or $20 or $25 a month for the Facebook store or whatever it worked out to be, and I really made no money on that. I might have made a few cents.
It was not a great business venture.
Well, the issue was just not selling enough, because it's the Facebook store that kills you. If you're making $10 on a DVD, that's okay, but it's the Facebook store that kills you.
Yep.
So, big up Shopify.
So, I'll put a link in the description for that too.
I don't actually have it.
So what else has been going on with you, Harley?
Well, after the lockdown, right?
Oh, can I actually interrupt myself in that question to ask you, who was the person at the start of the show that you quoted, the quoted person?
Oh, the song. Yeah, the song. The song was by That is Boy is
Uh-huh.
Dead by Biting Elbows, or possibly it's Biting Elbows by Boy
Okay.
is Dead. But I think it's Boy is Dead. Yeah, it's Boy is Dead by Biting
Okay.
Elbows.
Okay. Thank you. Uh,
Yeah,
I quite like
like
that
it
one.
so
No, I quite
much.
like that one. It was good.
First time in 182 episodes
That I said that.
that's been said.
Yeah.
Yeah. um, although you are do the lyrics yourself on occasion.
I know. I got to get onto that. It's only been the last 80 episodes that I missed. Yeah.
Well, I started so after the lockdown one,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I came out of lockdown one, and financially I was okay. I didn't really. I mean, I was already living the freelance lifestyle. I had my runway all sorted, and things all worked out, and it was okay. I got the wage subsidy from our amazing Labor government,
Auntie
and
Cindy.
Auntie Cindy never sees me wrong, and so I came out of it. It was all good. But here's what I was desperately isolated
Yeah.
after all that time, and most of my work had dried up. And the only work I had was largely done from home, at the computer.
Mm.
And so I, at one of the bars where I hold film nights, sometimes screenings of films, I heard that they need some bar staff, and I'm already been working in bars for years since I was 18, and so I was like, well, this is it. It's not really good money, but this is a chance to get out of the house and meet some people.
Yeah.
And I have, and it's been very good. It's been very nice to get out and meet some people and do some actual physical moving and all that type of thing. But I am, 10 years older than the majority of my colleagues. Which is, not all of them, but a lot of them. And yeah, I did kind of think that working in a bar might help my dating situation, because I'd be out meeting people. And who doesn't love the barman, right?
Yep. The cheeky barman.
Yeah, but so far it's been a little fruitless. Yeah, it's almost as if women aren't really interested in fucking a 40-year-old bald bartender who's getting $20 an hour in a recession or something like that. So no luck yet, but you never know what might happen in the future.
Yeah, it's almost like they. Well, I don't know if really people are making assessments on people's wages when they're considering these things.
Maybe. I think they're not in their 20s, but maybe in their 30s. You're like, am I going to shake up with a barman? Who's
and also,
not getting very. Who's
why is he a barman still? Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, shouldn't he at least be the manager?
The manager, exactly. Shouldn't I be at my age? Shouldn't I be the manager?
That's what you should say to the manager. You should say, "Hey, look, just a thought. At my age, shouldn't I be the manager?"
And he's a 22-year-old with pimples, and he's like, "Hey, mister."
You just go, "I'm just going to leave that with you. I'm just going to leave that with you next time you tell me to do something."
Yeah. Well, so that's that. But it is really good, and it has been very useful getting out. And I have been doing a bit of schmoozing here and there as well. I schmoozed a few stunties, and I schmoozed a casting agent as well, who I already knew, but now I'm affirming the relationship by plying him with booze. Yeah, so yeah, it's been fruitful. This is how you build your business back up after a recession. Go work in the pub for a bit.
Yeah, go work at the bar. Well, speaking of the recession, I my current student intake is not looking very good. In fact, I started off with 14 students, which was a new high for my course at the beginning of the term. I'm now down to 3.
How many did you start with?
14.
14 that had confirmed.
Yeah, 14 confirmed. And in fact, counting, so 2 started a bit later than that. So it would have been 16 overall. And then COVID lockdown 2 happened. And next thing you know, there's three kids in there.
Yeah.
Which does not bode well for my future.
No. Well, I mean, that's the same amount you had on your first year, pretty much.
Yeah, it's going backwards. It was on this upward
backwards.
trajectory. It was all looking good, and then with COVID, right off the
Yeah.
thing.
Off the cliff. Yeah.
So that
So does that mean it's likely that it won't happen at all, or are you saying it's still going to happen? You've got a job for the next 6 months.
I've got a job till December.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Wait, but when's the new intake?
the new intake would be next year.
Oh, I see. So you're saying that it's not looking good for next year then.
Yeah.
So this is okay.
Well, yeah,
I'm
it's
with you.
not looking good post December.
Yeah.
So I've also been looking at other ventures myself. Potentially becoming a wedding videographer.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Nobody wants to be that guy.
No.
Nobody wants to be that guy. That's I mean, I've done a few weddings myself over the years. Never a pleasure.
No.
Too much pressure because it's their big special day, and here you are, and you're like, listen, lady, you want the most awesome ring, and you want the most awesome wedding video in the world. Okay, well, I need to get an insert of the ring going on the finger.
Yep.
If you want me to get this, if you want me to capture this moment, I'm going to have to be standing in front of the audience filming this. So, what's more important, the video or the audience?
What's more important, the wedding or the shot that I need to get for your video?
Yeah. So just get off my balls. It's not going to be in there, or I'm going to ruin the wedding for you. It's up to you. What do you want? It's up to you.
Weddings are high stakes, and also there is another thought: is that it's the only time in history that someone is willing to pay, like a sort of a singular person is willing to pay kind of appropriate rates for a video, right? Like it's the only time that you can quote, go, yep, that'll be $2,000, thanks, and they go, it's for the wedding, got to do it, it's got to get it. I want it to be perfect. I want it to be perfect. So yes, but it's almost like you're sealing your own fate there because it's never going to be perfect. And so it's hard not to have a tinge of disappointment after that money has exchanged hands and they see you blocking the entire audience to try and get a shot of the ring. So we'll keep you abreast of that one.
Well, I filmed a bunch of them on the cruise ship, one of my cruise ship videography days. And so you had to be there. The hardest bit about that is that they were customers, right? I mean, they're customers anyway, but like just this idea that it's their special day. So you, even though it's just another day at work for you, you need to be on, Mr. Charismatic and I think this is really cool and interesting.
Yeah.
That's your job, right? Is to be an enthusiastic part of the day. But it's the 56th wedding that you've shot, and you're seeing the same tropes over and over again, and you just don't really care.
And you're hungover from the night before.
And you're probably hungover. And that bridesmaid keeps on giving you the glad eye, and so you just know that you should probably finish soon and go have a wine with
him. And your bunkmate kept you up farting repeatedly at night.
Well, that's if you're on a cruise ship. I was speaking more generally about weddings, but sure, yeah, okay, that too. Well, if your bunkmate is a farter.
Well, I think that the thing that shocked me about your cruise, always the thing that was least appealing to me about the cruise ship story was the close quarters. So you did share a room with someone else, and it was a small room. And
it was smaller than the room I'm in right now for two people.
Yeah.
And we have a wee single bunk bed each.
Yeah. So there's
and obviously the ship's moving all
There's
night.
not much privacy.
Literal sailor. Yeah, but you get a curtain, so you've got your own curtain, which makes your bunk, dark. So they can turn on the light and it's still dark, and you can still be jerking off in there.
And they won't know.
And they won't know as long as you keep it down. And I mean, the cruise ships, there was a lot of obviously bunk sex with other people in the room. It had to be done. There was no other way.
And thus was born
silent sex.
Thus was born your stealth wanking. Thus was born your specialist stealth wanking skills.
Well, and also my fetish for missionary in the dark.
Silently.
My fetish for silent missionary in the dark, which is all you can have in these tiny little bunk beds with somebody below you. And it's really rubbed off on me now. I can only get off if it's silent missionary in the dark.
If they start
Yeah,
making,
otherwise I just can't
if
get
they
there.
start making noises of pleasure, you're like, no,
No.
shh, shut it, shut up. I'm trying to
Yeah.
take myself back
But
to the cruise ship days. Yeah.
I was lucky because both of my bunkmates, I had two bunkmates over the course of that contract, and both of them, they're both great guys, but they were forever virgins, it would seem, because I don't recall a single time that they had a lady over, and I had to lie there in bed while they were like having
Creaking
sex,
away.
freaking away, pretending it was silent. But the thing is, you got to remember the whole ship sometimes creaks, and you hear waves crashing on the bow and all that stuff. So there are noises around. You can hear the engine at any given moment. It's going, bah,
Right.
but it's in the background, but you can hear it. So you don't have to be that quiet.
Isn't it funny though? Because imagine how different your experience would have been if you'd just had some fucking total weirdo nut job that was
that is the concern.
because you don't know.
But people swap. People do swap.
Right.
You swap.
I see.
Sometimes people swap roommates when they just can't get along. They'll just swap with someone else. So you can get out of it. But yeah, I mean, that was always a concern. I got lucky. I got two photographers that were both really cool, easy to live with.
Because there's no real walking away, from that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, especially because you're working in the same team as them, as well as living in a cardboard in a shoebox with them.
Yeah.
So you're living in a shoebox and you're on the same team in the same department.
There you go, sweet bro. Did you finish that edit?
Well, luckily I lived with a photographer, not the other videographer who I was letting down.
Yeah.
Who I was continually letting down. I broke a camera once. It got splashed by a wave when I got too close to the waves, and there's some salt water went into the camera, and I just had to. Accept that and take responsibility for it.
Did you have to pay for it?
Nah.
Did you
you
didn't feign like ignorance of like, it just stopped working?
Well, there was the footage. It was recording at the time. So I was caught in the act.
Right. So you couldn't really fake the wave.
Yeah. But also you can't anyway. There's only two people. Like I've only had one person in my team, which was my senior, right? So I was the junior videographer, there was a senior videographer, and obviously if one of the cameras stops working, it's going to be something and I was the last one to use it. It's not going to take long to track down the culprit. So honestly, it was the best policy.
Yeah, I'm always a fan of just claiming things just break, if you know what I mean. Like they've just broke. It's like exactly. Like it's a mechanical thing. There's lots of parts to it, and sometimes they just stop working. Overuse because it's hundreds of hours. We've been shooting for hundreds of hours. They just stop working. That's really what I like to do with anything expensive that breaks. Speaking of things that are expensive that broke, my laptop did explode a little while ago, which...
Well, you've got a history of exploding things at the moment, because there was also a tripod that I borrowed off you that just spontaneously exploded when I borrowed it. And then I gave it back and it was all smashed up and broken. But it was weird.
Strange that it was just one of those mechanical things, hundreds of hours, and
it's been filming for hundreds of hours. And it was a tripod, but it just spontaneously exploded.
So with that laptop that exploded, I decided to no longer keep that laptop after it was repaired, obviously. And so
I had to sell it to some unsuspecting sucker.
Well, it's all right. It's still under warranty, so they're good. There's no need to be concerned about that. In fact, if anything, it's running better than it was when I brought it brand new. But it shook me. It shook me to my core.
Oh, don't worry about the bent chassis, mate. It's still got a warrant.
Still warranted. Still under warranty. So
still got a warrant for 3 more months. Don't worry about the bent chassis.
So what was shocking to me about the whole thing is it was an Apple product. And the reason that I'm in the Apple ecosystem is the idea that they don't really do that, right? That they don't really just one day shit the bed. Right? That's the whole point. It's stability. It's reliability. That's what you're buying into with Apple. You're paying the Apple tax. You're paying the premiums for it. So you expect it to be 100%. Now, I mean, even if you look at some of our episodes, which were running off that laptop, they were not always technically amazing.
You mean like
last week's one, which was
where we had to cut it short
because the battery died, and there's been a few instances like that. And so anyway, but it just shook my whole my belief system. My belief system was shook, and I was like, all right, so what is my replacement then? And I did the unthinkable. I did the unthinkable.
You didn't leave the Apple ecosphere,
I
did
left it, Harley. Not 100%, but I did leave it.
Man, that was a big waste of money.
So I bought
Should have talked to me first
bought a
about that
PC.
one.
Well, I talked to a lot of people. I asked for
Just not me.
Just not the most computer illiterate person I know.
Listen, guy, here's my thing. Everyone's think I pretend I'm a lot worse than I am, and then nobody asked me to do anything.
Yeah,
you see, that's the track.
It's true. It's true.
But I know what's going on.
Yeah. So Tyler says yes. He's part of the PC, the cult of PC.
Yeah. He's a PC.
So the thing about PCs is obviously you do get a lot more value for money. And Nocturnal's chiming in. He's an anti-Apple as well.
Sad to see all these misguided fools.
Sad fake news. Sad.
Fake news. Fake news.
So yeah. So but this
from the PC propaganda.
I've been an Apple user for legitimately my whole life. Really, I have worked on PCs at my jobs, and I've had a PC laptop before, which I also kind of blew up with porn. The porn, I don't know how it got there, right? I don't know how the porn got on the laptop, and I don't know what it was doing there, but it was definitely slowing it down, and it was definitely pop-ups happening that I didn't want it to and everything. So, but since then, I've been an Apple man through and through, and now I've taken this bold leap into PC territory. Yeah. It's mainly primarily it's just...
You've taken this huge backpedal, this giant leap backwards into PC territory. You first one blew up, then you had a reliable something for decades, and then you're like, I'm going back. That's it.
Yeah.
You know what I miss in my life? Unreliability. That's what
Tyler's
I need.
Buying a PC right now, so I will ask you, Tyler, what are your specs? What are you buying? I am interested now because I'm a PC man now. It hasn't arrived.
He's a PC man.
It hasn't arrived yet, but I'm hoping that the value for money and the ability to upgrade, that was really why I bought it, is that the idea is the other option was to buy an iMac like you have, right? Problem with the iMac is once you got it,
Too reliable. That's the big issue with the iMac. 5 years, it's still going strong. I don't want to have to deal with all that reliability.
The problem is you get it, you can't upgrade it, right? That's it.
I just upgraded the RAM
the other RAM, day. Harley. I'm talking about.
Upgraded
like.
What did I do to the RAM, guys?
You brought more RAM.
I upgraded it, didn't I?
So now I'm going to be testing that out. Hopefully, I will get it on tomorrow, but maybe it won't be till next week that I get it, and then I'll bring you on this journey. I'm a Mac, you're a PC, or I'm a PC now, and
you're a PC.
I'm still a little bit of a Mac.
I'm a Mac attacker.
So we're going to see what happens on that one, but. So I'm Brave New World, and I don't know how. I've always been safe from the viruses, and now I don't know how I'm going to be safe anymore.
Yeah. Also, you upgraded your phone eventually.
I did.
from
Android
from Android over to
and I couldn't
Apple.
be happier.
Couldn't be happier. I applaud you. Applaud you.
Tyler says his first PC workstation is still running.
That joke number
1. 10 years old, he says, still running. So, we'll see. The jury is out. We'll let you know. No doubt I'm going to be upset by it for a little while, but hopefully it all comes together.
Not even a titter?
Nothing. No.
Nothing?
Really?
Not even a titter? Applaud you. Anyway.
So yeah, that's what's been going on with me. What else we got?
Well, there is a new segment. It's called Sorry, the hinge. Because the other week on the show, Lexi Graves on the live stream, who doesn't appear to have joined us this
Sadly,
time, was suggesting, when I said about how I was tired of meeting with these office cubicle plebs.
Yeah, you very
dating.
condescendingly put yourself above everyone who works in an office.
Yeah. These little happiness machines that crawl along the highway every day. These little happiness machines that have got to make sales by Friday, and they just sit in their cubicles all day looking at the shadows dance on the cave wall in front of them. And and so I said that I didn't want to date these plebs, and Lexi Graves on the live stream suggested that there's another app out there called Hinge.
Yep.
Sorry, the Hinge. And so so I went out, I tried it, this other app, Hinge, out of literally 4 minutes flat. But nevertheless, it does set for the day. I mean, the next day you get some more unless you want to pay. So every day I set my alarm to quickly wake up and use up my likes. And it does seem like a better app than Bumble and Tinder. So it's a dating app, right? And basically the main difference with Bumble and Tinder, you're just either swiping right or you're swiping left. So in my case, I'm just swiping right. But if you don't like somebody, you would hypothetically swipe them left. I've never done it. But so in the case of the Hinge, what you're doing is they've actually got pictures more like Facebook, and they've got not so much comments, but like prompts on each photo. And so you can either just like the photo and they know you've liked it and that's a sign of interest, or you can like it and, comment, or not comment publicly, but send them a comment, send them a message, and so there's actually something to talk about. You can actually go, oh, cool, where was that photo taken? Or, wow, you check that out, you're jumping while on top of a hill that you walked up. That must have been an exhilarating experience. Or, oh, I see that you're a foodie. I'm a foodie too, who's been eating food for the entirety of my life. We can be foodies together.
You like eating food, eh?
And so exactly. So you can actually attempt to show some personality, which is what as opposed to just swiping right or left and then relying 100% on your photos of you as a short, bald, hairy man heading towards 40. Which is obviously a brutal landscape to be in if you don't have any opportunity to show personality. It's very difficult. I'm what's known as real life hot. I'm not so good, on paper. He's short. If you're describing me in a group, in a crowd, you'd go, which one is he? You'd go, he's short. Okay, well, I can't see him. Which one else? Well, he's bald. Okay, what else? No, you're on the beach. Imagine that you're on the beach. He's hairy. Yeah. I see him.
He looks like he's wearing like a hair sweater of some sort. Like he's pulled on a sweater of hair and it's just covering his entire top half. Oh, yeah, I see him down there. Yeah, see, I tried to take a photo purely as a curiosity. I tried to secretly take a photo of that so I can meme it to my mates later.
So he can go viral. Yeah. Well, if
meme his
George
back to the
if Paul Giamatti and George Costanza ever had a baby, that's what this guy is.
So, on paper.
And yet, here I am with a bevy of beautiful exes.
Yeah.
Because I'm what's known as real life hot.
or what's known as a failure as someone in a relationship.
Well, the point is that Hinge is a chance to mitigate that disadvantage I'm at online. And so it's not bad. It's not a wee bad app. Although I did look at the people that have matched with me, and never have I met a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. But it's promising. That's all I'm saying.
Hinge.
Sorry.
Hinge. You'll never see a more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff.
Well, that should be the intro.
Yeah.
Record that
You
intro,
should grab
or
that bit from. You should go. What you should do is you should mash up the hinge from Zombie Holocaust and then put in that quote from Star Wars at the end. I think we've got the intro there. So did you have any hinge conversations? Did the door open on the hinges?
Well, actually, yeah, I matched with a bunch of attractive women, and we, they invited me to chat, or we chatted, and but to be honest, I'm so lonely, but
So lazy at the same time.
I'm so lazy at the same time. I'm like, oh God, I've got to get out there. Oh, I've actually got to do it now.
You've got to have a conversation now.
I match with them, but then I don't meet with
them.
I'm a cock tease. So, yeah. That's where we're at on that.
Sweet. Well, you have to keep us posted. Now, we haven't had too many COVID cases recently. We're sort of down in the 1s and 2s, which is promising. Although now they're saying that a mini cluster could develop from the gym. Well,
of course, of all the places.
So we were
obvious.
just talking about the gym. They had one person that went to
breathing heavily, sweating.
One person that went to Les Mills with COVID.
All that sex in the changing rooms.
Les Mills, massive Les Mills. He had COVID, and now everyone's like, all those people that were at the gym at the same time, you should probably be worried. So they say a mini cluster could develop, and that's exactly why they should close my fucking gym and stop charging me.
Well, are you pissed off about that? Because basically you can't. You might as well keep working out. You might as well keep putting your life in jeopardy because you're being forced to pay the $25 a week or whatever, because they are not allowing you to get out of it, even though you're at level 2.5.
This is my issue. I just got...
Because I got the fuck out. As soon as I heard about this, before all this shit started, I called the gym and I was like, I'm fucking outies. And they were like, well, why are you leaving, sir? And I was like, shut the fuck up. You're doomed. And then
you're done, mate. You're fucking done. I don't need to give you any explanations. Just know that your whole business is done. See ya. So look, I actually I like going to the gym. I'm just a little bit grumpy that they suspend your payments, right? Over lockdown, right? But then they just hit you with the payment as soon as they open back up. But for me, I was like, well, if you're going to suspend, you should be suspending it and then start charging, right? You don't hold on to charging until we get back in the gym, which seems to be what's happening. I wasn't charged for a month. I was charged for a month and a half. And it's like, well, where do you get this month and a half from, mate?
What? So they were charging you for the lockdown?
Yeah, so they were charging for the lockdown, but not while on lockdown. So they just hit a pause.
I see what you're saying. They paused the lockdown, so it was a freeze as opposed to a
actual...
there's a word. Amnesty.
Yes. So rather than actually not charging me over that time, it's just like, we're not charging you right now.
Right now. Well, I'm worried that that's going to happen because next month the warrant of fitness for all of our cars is due, and the rego for all of the people who ran out during COVID. You got like 6 months free type thing, which is awesome on both warrant and rego. But I'm a bit worried that when I go in to pay for the rego, they'll go cool. So that's no. It wasn't a pause, Mr. Neville. It was just a freeze. You didn't have to pay during that period because, like COVID and stuff. But now you owe us a lot of money if you want to get your car registered.
Yeah, well, I'm
pretty sure that's what's going to happen.
It could easily happen. So that gym just proves that we should have our cinema thing and no gyms. The gyms should be the one that is limited, not our cinema thing. This was the safety of 2-seat gaps.
Yeah.
And masks.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty ridiculous because where do you breathe heavier than at the gym? And you can't really wear a mask. Like, I get puffed fucking walking up the driveway when I'm wearing my mask.
Well,
or even when I'm not. But like the mask makes it worse.
And also let's not forget the sweating, and the like hands all over the weights. Cool, you wiped it down, right? Well, so what? What if you didn't wipe it down quite? COVID.
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah.
Mini cluster.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's literally microscopic, right? So if you're in a fucking gym and one person has it and breathes heavily and sweats a lot for 1 hour on the fucking treadmill, there's so many people that could easily be right next to them and be, because they're breathing really heavily the whole time, that could get infected.
Well, also,
which is why I haven't gone to the gym, right? But I do really want to. I've been thinking, for my mental health, I was like, fuck, if I at least would go to the gym, that would help. That would help with getting me out of this hole, this basement that I live in. But, it's expensive. And also, there's all the people there. And then there's the COVID risk. And then there's my hairy shoulders. Which obviously any gym I go to, I need to accept the fact that people are going to stare at me and whisper to one another whenever I walk
or you could
through.
just wear a t-shirt. You freaking animal.
No, that's body shaming. I shouldn't have to wear a t-shirt because of the hair on my shoulders. What you think and what they think about the hair on my shoulders is none of my business, right? It's none of my business. So I should be able to wear a singlet if that's what I'm comfortable in. If I'm at the gym and I lay down on the bench press machine and I do some sweaty bench presses and then I leave some back hairs on the bench from my wife beater, from my singlet, well, that's none of my business. That's all I'm saying. I guess I could wipe it all up.
I guess so.
I'd need a fucking vacuum, wouldn't I?
Well, Nocturnal asks, will they have to wear a mask at the Older Premiere?
I could take one of those little portable vacuums and vacuum up my back hair from around the bench press machine.
The answer to that is hopefully not, unless you want to, to feel comfortable.
Exactly.
But in theory,
if you're going out in public, if it's level 2, and if you're going out in public and you want to wear your mask, you should. My mask makes me feel like a cool ninja, so I like wearing my mask. I'm starting to see why they're so popular in Muslim countries.
I hate wearing my mask because whenever I try, I look like a bit of a dirty hobo, and that can be quite alarming to people sometimes. When they see this kind of old beggar wandering up to them. And rather than them repel in fear, I can put them at ease with a smile. Except when I've got my mask on, I'm just squinting my eyes at them, which is actually worse. And so like a lot of times I've tried to throw a disarming smile for these people who've sort of stared at me with a slight element of fear, and I've not achieved my desired goal.
Yeah, well, I feel quite intimidating myself, and it's because of my fashion, which I feel is a little robberish.
Yeah.
I sort of dress like a robber.
Yeah.
And so when you combine it with the mask, if my fashion is already sort of robber bogan, and then you combine it with the mask, I can see why people might be concerned that I had, nefarious motives. So yeah, but if you want to wear your mask at the screening,
go for it.
You can, and you should. And I will probably take mine, I guess. But to be honest,
you're not going to wear them for those photo ops. Well, you wear them for one photo op to say, "Hey guys,
I'm legit, dude.
We're COVID ready premiere or some shit."
Support the government. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, we'll see what the. It's really up to you, right? Like I see people go up into the cafe. Today I went to a cafe. I walked in with my mask. The bum behind me walked in with no mask. Same at the chip shop the other day. I walked in with a mask. The people behind the counter had a mask. The bum behind me, no mask. So I don't know. Seems like anybody. There's just no rules.
So speaking of older, our IMDb rating has gone up by 0.2, which.
5.3.
So that's good. So we're at 5.1. We've gone up to 5.3. So
we got down to 5 at one point. We were down to 5.
So
at one point, I saw it when it was at 5.0.
So we'd like to...
And I was like, for fuck's sake. Those fucking incels.
Would like to thank everybody who's of the 5150 who've voted and rated and left a review or whatever. That's really awesome. And I do see those in the reviews when I comb over them. looking for people like
Yeah,
fucking
looking for
Lou
anything
Lazinski to get me
reaffirming.
fired up. So that's very cool. But our popularity has gone down
So thank you.
on IMDb. So people were,
Right.
I don't know, maybe people were heavily pirating us, or we had a spike, and now that spike is on the downward trajectory. So probably need to do
Well, that's what happens when the movie is new.
Probably need to do some more updates.
Yeah, well, we do. We do need some more updates. We've got a bunch of
Got a
content.
lot of content. I made a lot of content to update with. But it has not popped up just yet.
Been updated. I noticed that one of the actors posted a clip on their personal actor page, but it wasn't a clip that I was aware that had been published.
No.
So it had been taken from the movie and then uploaded illegally.
It's true. It had been.
So it was to promote the film, though, so it was kind of all good. But still, that had been taken without permission.
It's true.
Without no questions, and uploaded somewhere else with no permission. And I was like, did Guy approve this? Or did we release this? Or is this person just taking a part of our movie and put it online?
Well, that...
It turns out it was the latter.
Yeah, 100% was.
But it's that thing, right? The piracy thing, right? Some stranger does it, puts the whole fucking movie up, and we go, oh, well, that's piracy. Someone does it in order to promote, themselves as a performer or whatever, which is fair given that, the pay rates we're offering. And you're like, hey,
what are you doing, pal?
Whoa,
do we give you permission?
Only anonymous pirates. And it's the same with us. Like, we should be able to pirate it ourselves. We should be able to leak it onto the pirate sites ourselves and put it on YouTube ourselves and control all of that. But we can't because of the rules.
The law, more specifically.
Yeah. So the rules against, the rules inhibiting us because the rules don't reflect reality.
Well, I did notice a curious thing because another film's had their premiere, and I'm pretty sure they had a Q&A premiere like yesterday.
Yeah, but the issue is not premieres. The issue is not Q&As. The issue is not gatherings of people. The issue is the paperwork. So did they have a cinema release?
Yes.
If they had a cinema release, yes, exactly. So they're okay. This, in our case, we didn't have a cinema release. We have hired the cinema
singular
to screen a film. Exactly. So
that's the workaround.
So because of the paperwork, we aren't allowed to have our screening. It's another one of these mindless rules. This blind adherence that I seem to be banging my head up against lately. This blind adherence to irrelevant bureaucratic
ranting
rules
about
that are just silly nonsense. Enforced. These sort of arbitrary rules enforced, stupidly for no good reason. And so things like this are a prime example. We can't have a script. These guys want to put 100 people in a room and play a movie. We want to put 100 people in a room and play a movie. And in a room specifically designed for movies that has been playing movies all day, every day.
For 100 people.
For 100 people. That we just want to do that. That's all we're trying to do. But sadly, due to the rules of who is paying, which is irrelevant to the virus, it's irrelevant to the spread of the virus. It's completely irrelevant. It's no logic at all. But that's humans for you. We've got to follow the rules. We've got to blindly adhere. So that's what we're doing. So yes, that's where we're at with that.
So 5.3. We need to get it up to like 6.5. I'm pretty sure.
I need to get back to 9.2.
Well, that would be the ideal. Still doing.
Well, it's a 9 out of 10.
It's a guaranteed 9 out of 10 movie. I did hear from my mum the other day. Mum thought it was great. Weirdly,
here you go.
Mum thought it was great, but I don't think that has anything to do with the fact that I'm her son. Okay, I think she watched it completely unbiased. And told me how great it was. Nothing to do with our connection, just a film she watched, and that's what she thought. So there's your endorsement right there.
Yeah. So what did she say?
She said, this is a film review from my mum. Here we go.
Okay. All right. Well, while you look that
Yep.
up, I did actually see a few reviews for the Guy and Harley podcast on iTunes. I finally found where they are,
Nice.
and I read them all.
Of course.
And there's a bunch there from all the 5150 legends. They're all there. I should have had it up right now. I could have read exactly who it was. Nocturnal gave us one. I'm sure Tyler Adams almost
Yep.
certainly did. There was a bunch of other all the regulars. They were all there saying what a great show it is. So thank you very much to those guys. But I did notice there was 14 that were 5 out of 5 for the Guy and Harley podcast on iTunes, which really helps us. And there was one star rating.
Ooh.
That one star rating. Now, a 1-star rating, it's obviously that fuck you. It's like, we know you in real life. We're going to give you 1
Lou
star.
Lazinski.
So there he is. It's that incel that we mentioned. We mentioned him last time. That incel that's been haunting us.
Yeah.
You know? So to that motherfucker, I want him to know that for every 1 star he gives, you know what that 1 star represents?
A filmmaker
it represents
dies.
And your 1-inch penis.
Oh, okay.
You loser.
Yeah. So every 1-star review you give, an indie filmmaker dies somewhere. It's like the fairies in Tinkerbell. Yeah.
Like the fairies. Yeah.
Tinkerbell. So similar.
Every time you give a 1-star review, a filmmaker dies.
So just think about that next time you.
Just think about that.
Maybe I should rephrase that. A filmmaker's career dies. So anyway, So this is what my mum said. Just watch Older with Dad. It was great. And I'm not just saying that because you are my son. Fantastic job. Well done. I said, thanks, Mum. Glad you enjoyed it. She said, loved it. Tears, emotion, and laughter. And there you go. So that's my mum's review of Older. In case you were on the fence, in case there was something like, I can't really buy into these guys shilling this film all the time on the podcast. I can't really buy into all of that.
I'm not going to give them money.
But now it's been
for the hours and hours of entertainment they're providing.
It's been approved. So there you go. I also
That is good news, and thank you to Mrs. P, who is a listener to the show as well on occasion, as I understand it.
Yeah.
So shout out. She is a member of the 5150.
Shout out to my mum for listening to this podcast and putting up with all the nonsense that goes with that.
Yeah, all the too much information that goes with
all
that.
The crude humor.
My mum said she didn't like to listen to it because it was too much information. It was too much information, which I understand. I do understand, but it was also a little bit like, oh, come on, Mum, it's not that bad. I mean, she raised me, right? I mean, I am only a product of her raising me to be what I am.
Yep.
So, it's time to take a good, long look in the mirror, Mum. Right?
Come on, Mum. Own up to it.
You got to watch the show. You've just got to get into it. You've just got to accept the fact I'm going to be talking about all sorts of horrible, random, and weird shit sometimes.
Perverted.
Disgusting, perverted, weird shit.
Come on, Mum. That you take some responsibility for your son. What's coming out of his mouth.
She's gonna come up here and wash my mouth out with soap. No, she never did that.
Yeah, so that's sort of where we're at there. Runs with Scissors says, my pants are down, but my support is up. Nice.
Good for you. That's Runs with Scissors on YouTube. Go check them out and subscribe. Thanks for those kind words about your aroused state of support. Yeah, I've got a few other shout outs as well. I'd like to shout out to Tina Nick Tash. Nick Tash is maybe how you say that. I'm not sure. Forgive me. Shout out Tina, who is a recent, she's been experimenting with her podcasting, and she decided to come and check us out last episode. So shout out to Tina. And then Tommy Schwela, also way over in London, who is tuning in as well. And we had a good chat. And also Liam Hegarty. Liam Hegarty gave us some feedback on the last episode. He said, in related news, I was drunk as fuck watching the latest episode of the podcast in isolation last night. Now, poor old Liam, he's in the hole over in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, and he's trapped in there, surrounded by Australians,
At a job that he hates.
in isolation at a job that, judging by his posts, he hates.
Without the
So he was
ability to
watching.
express himself as a musician, which is his true calling and passion.
Yeah, his vocation. His vocation. Yes. And so he says that he was drunk as fuck watching the podcast in isolation last night, which was good times. And he says that we have really come into our own this year on the podcast. So
And all it took was a
Nian.
level 4 lockdown.
All it took was 182 episodes, a level 4 lockdown, and a certain amount of mental unhingedness that comes inherent in 2020, I think. That's what really works. But what I want to know is, what's the difference? So he's not very specific. He says it's good, and he says he's really coming to our own, but he doesn't give us any type of feedback. So I'm calling all listeners to give us some feedback in the comments below, wherever you're listening. Give us some feedback. Tell us what you like about the show, all right? Because we really need some positive reinforcement right now.
I see what you did there. You said, give us some feedback, but only positive. Like, don't call out anything that you want changed or anything negative. No, like, we just want the positives.
No, I'm okay with constructive criticism. But here's how constructive criticism goes. It doesn't go like this. It doesn't go, the show's too long. Right? That's not constructive.
Yeah.
You know, you got to say, hey guys, for me, I tend to tune out at about 45 minutes. And it's because, that's when I get your shtick. I get your shtick by 45. And all the time, I just usually listen to the first 45 minutes, and then I tend to tune out. Okay, that's constructive. That's information on your listener behavior. That's helpful.
I tend to tune out when Harley starts going on his crazy conspiracy theories.
I'll have you know that I am not a conspiracy theorist. I'm the opposite of a conspiracy theorist. I am an extreme skeptic, the opposite of a conspiracy theorist. And I'll also have you know that Tommy Schwiler over in London had some positive things to say about the rants. He said he liked the rants. He enjoyed the rants. And frankly, if you take the rants out of this show, I don't want to do it anymore. This is why I'm here. To have my say, to get on my shoebox.
Yeah. Well,
shoebox?
Yeah.
Soapbox.
Either way, it's just to give you a slight edge in height.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, what else we got? Anything else? Or is it about that time?
Well, was it about that time? I thought the show had just started.
An hour and 10 minutes ago.
Oh, all right. Well, okay. Well, what do you want to go?
I just don't have any.
Mr. Busy.
Well, actually, yes, I've got heaps of shit to do. But specifically, it's just I've got no more topics to contribute to this scintillating conversation.
Well, all right.
Really took the wind out of your sails.
Took the wind. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'll wrap it up then.
Cool. Well, thank you everyone for listening and your ratings and your reviews. We really do appreciate them. If you haven't rated Older yet, get on IMDb. We've got to get it up. We've got to get it up to 6.5. I think then it makes it eligible for some other thing. These damn dirty pirates. Don't let these damn dirty pirates win. Or maybe they're just regular viewers. We don't really know. And really that's about it. Like and subscribe. Guys.
Oh, all right. Well, abruptly the show's ending this week.
You got something else you want to talk about? Let's do it.
We'll catch you next week. We'll catch you next week then. We won't talk about Dark on Netflix or anything. We'll just end it right here. It's fine.
I haven't seen Dark, so I can't comment on it.
Yeah, well, it's good. It's a good show. It's a very good show. I'm currently watching it. Would you like a review?
Yes, go for it.
Guy just murdered the podcast. Feedback from Tyler Adams. Guy just murdered the podcast. Less of that next time. Haha. There's your constructive
Well, I just
criticism.
thought we were wrapping things up. I thought it was time to go.
Why did you think that? We were mid. I was mid
Well,
rant.
no, I feel like you'd come to the end of your rant on rants.
Well, I've got many rants. I've got pre-written rants here that they do. I've got so many that I can't read them all. I don't read them. Yeah, so many rants. All right, so Dark. Anyway, just as an addendum to the show, apparently, as an here's an addendum review of Dark. I'm up to season 3 of Dark. It's a German mystery time travel show. And the only thing wrong with it really is the overdub, but everything else is, spot on. It's really good. And I wonder, I'm listening to it with overdubbed in English, right? Because it's German.
And you're lazy.
And it's like, wow, if it's, what do you mean?
You turn it off?
Oh, no, there's no
choice.
What, and listen to it in German and read it? Well, that would be the same thing because my point of, I prefer not to overdub, obviously. Right. I'm not.
You're an anti-dubber.
A fucking animal.
Yeah.
I'm not an
so
animal.
there's
Obviously,
no option. It just gets piped in.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. But it's good, and they've got good actors and good sound design, and that's kind of the point. It's not like ADR, of a person, just watching the movie and talking. It's actually really good. So it's good acting and all that stuff. So once you get over the overdub, it's really good. But it does make me wonder, like, how good it must be in its original language, because it's so good, in English, overdubbed, and it makes me go, wow, because oftentimes the things that bother me are pretty sure to do with the overdubbing. And so it's a time travel series on Netflix called Dark. It's overdubbed in English, and it's really, I'm up to this 3rd season of 3 so far, and it's very convoluted. The story is like, you're following people who are, without no spoilers, people who are traveling and being involved in different times all the time, and it's very complicated. But somehow they keep it so that you can actually understand it, and it's a good story, and I'm totally on board with it so far, and I'm just at the beginning of season 3, so I can recommend Dark on Netflix. All you've got to do is get through the overdubbing, and then there's 2 bad things. One is sometimes, and I think it's the overdubbing, the acting sometimes, every now and then you're like, God damn it, just tell them what's going on. But it's not always there. And there was one other thing that bothered me, but I can't remember what it is right now. But it's a really good show, so I do check it out. Go check it out. It's time.
Just to add to that, I also did see an interesting doco. I don't think we mentioned it last time. The Social Dilemma. You seen that?
It's on my to watch list because I'm not already disappointed enough in the system and our enslavement by it. And so I would like to learn more about it by watching a documentary about how the system is newly controlling us.
Well, it is a fascinating documentary.
Have you seen the whole?
Yeah, I've watched the whole thing now. So it is a.
How many?
It's just one. It's just like an hour and a half long doco, and it's basically It's basically key figures.
I'll watch it tonight, seeing as the show's finishing.
Key figures from the social media industry, so sort of founders or key designers of Facebook, Twitch, Google, Amazon, like that have sort of subsequently left their posts talking about the effect of social media and the ways in which it is, or the ways in which what's the best way to put this? The ways in which
it's designed to manipulate us.
Not so much manipulate us, although it does talk a little bit about how conspiracy theories have started running rampant and exactly why that's happening, like how they've exponentially grown, and it's basically to do with the fact that that's what gets fucking clicked on, and
it's a mind virus. It's a mind virus spread from moron to moron, made exceptionally accessible by the internet.
And by specifically sort of, recommendations and bubbles and echo chambers and all that sort of thing, which we have talked about, but definitely highly recommend it. Definitely worth a watch. And it's really more also just to do with the ethical conundrum that these giant places have of like, if you keep making money the way that you're making it, you are inherently
going to destroy the
destroying
world.
humanity. You're, or at least destroying is maybe too strong a word. You are making things much worse for everyone in several ways. And it's also how we are a commodity to social media. Like what is our value and why? This is all fascinating stuff. So I highly recommend that everyone checks it out. The Social Dilemma. You may have a dilemma after you've watched it. The next time you pick up your phone. So think about it.
I imagine so. Because I used to think that the Matrix, like I understood the concept, that I understood that there was an allegory or an analogy in the Matrix. This idea that there was a system.
But that came out in fucking 1999.
No, but this
barely had dial-up then.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Social media and the internet is just an extension of the system. It's the same system that's been manipulating us all along and controlling us all along. It's just this is the latest, this is the cutting edge weaponry.
Okay, in case you missed these conspiracy theories.
There's no conspiracy here. In a village, right? How do you, if we are a group of Paleolithic humans and we decide to begin, we tribe and we decide to set up a wee village, but I keep on running out into the middle of the village and shitting on the ground, how do you stop me from doing that? That's negative behavior that affects everybody. It spreads disease. It's a problem. How do you do it? You've got to have systems in place to stop people from running out and shitting on the ground. And that's what the system is. It's a way of all of us living together happily-ish and controlling one another. But the thing is that the system grows all by itself, from stopping me shitting in the road to stopping you or stopping somebody from having an abortion. It grows all by itself. But there's not one person that made that happen. It happens slowly over time. The system evolves and develops to control humans in more and more and more ways, the humans that live within, the societies we're building. And in many ways, it helps us, and it helps us achieve big things, such as building skyscrapers and so on. But in many other ways, it restricts our freedoms. And this system, which is not controlled by anybody, does not care about our happiness. It's not a part of the equation. We don't need to be happy. We need to get up and go to work and not shit in the middle of the road. So you see, that's what the system is. That's what it is. And that's what the Matrix is talking about. The system that we're all plugged into, and we don't know necessarily that we're plugged into it. But, so when it comes to whatever you were saying.
The social dilemma, social media.
Yeah. Well, that's just part of it. don't don't shit in the road. Don't shit in the road.
Thank you, Professor.
Okay, but how about this? I saw a documentary the other day. Actually, I didn't watch it. I just watched the trailer because I'm a modern human and I'm a part of this problem. And it was saying that every Google search has an energy cost. So you jump on the internet right now, you go Control-T to start a new tab, and you Google Pigville Productions right now. That's all you got to do. Hurry up and do it, listeners. And once you do it, right, what happens? That signal takes energy to send from New Zealand all the way to America or wherever the internet is. And, there's an energy cost associated with that Google search. And it might just be like the cost of switching on a light and switching it back off again or whatever, right? Now, I sit here all day, and what am I doing? I'm Google searching, sexy babes,
in my area.
Sexy, horny MILFs in my area.
Yeah.
Harley Neville actor, Harley Neville poet, Harley Neville podcast, Harley Neville penis size, Harley Neville hairy back pictures. So I'm Googling all this stuff. And what am I doing every time? I'm switching on a light and I'm switching it off. I'm costing energy. I'm chopping down forests in order to create, I'm mining up coal. These are the things that I'm doing with my day-to-day existence. So I am in every way powering the system. I'm literally powering the system. The system needs to be paid for somewhere. So it's just like the Matrix, except for instead of being physically plugged into it, I'm doing it via my stumpy fat digits.
Yeah.
But give it 5 years, give it 10 years. I'll be literally plugged into this computer, searching things, sending energy pulses around, and which will be generating income for other people, burning energy, doing things, and hurrying the end of the world. So
Sweet.
the Matrix is more than a
Well, Elon
movie, is what
Musk
I'm
will
saying.
sort you out with his new mind chip. You must have seen that.
No, I knew there was talk of it, but I haven't actually read
Or
up
he
about it.
thinks with
But
it.
whatever my Lord and Savior Elon says, I will adhere to it.
Well,
So
he
it's
reckons
okay.
within the next 5 years,
Sign me up.
he's gonna have a brain chip that you just put in, and you can do exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So no more
Yeah. Well,
typing.
yeah. So you see how that is what the system is. The system is progress that makes humans less and less independent and more a part of this machine. And so you go, why would I do it? It's not like there's no dictator telling me to do it. Why would I get the chip? I would get the chip because it's convenient, and all day I'm sitting here googling things. So why type it with my stumpy digits when I can just have the thing in my head? Now I'm more efficient. My life is better, but the system itself, the system designed to control humans, is also better. It's more efficient now. And that's how it goes. He's laughing, people. He's laughing. When you
Well,
guys get it,
someone says
your mum's out. Your mum's
sounds
out
like a
there.
conspiracy
Your
theory,
mum's out
Harley.
there nodding.
That's
Your
what
mum's out there nodding.
Runs with Scissors says that sounds like a conspiracy theory.
Okay, but that's fair, right? Because as it says in the Matrix, the people within the Matrix that are powering it will fight with their very lives to protect the system that is oppressing them. And unfortunately, Run with Scissors is yet another victim of the system.
Of the
Not me, kids. I'm a victim of the system, but at least I know it. Okay, that's the difference.
Oh my god! If you just take that section of the podcast, I'm not crazy
Yeah.
and I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
I'm not. I'm extremely
I'm
skeptical of
huge
conspiracy
skeptic.
theorists.
Um,
Here's the thing about conspiracy theorists. Conspiracy theorists and theories, they want somebody to be in charge. It's just religion replaced. That's all it is. They want a nefarious cabal of, people at the top that are controlling everything, these puppet master billionaires. But it's like, actually, guys, the reality is much more terrifying than that. These puppet master billionaires are as helpless as we are in the face of climate change and all of these other things. There's nothing, there's nobody in charge. It's this system is controlled. There's nobody at the helm. And so conspiracy theorists have to piece together all these ways in order for somebody to be in charge. But that's not the case. Chaos, reality is much, much scarier than that.
Okay. Tyler Adams says, anything to share on the quarantine film? Had any time to edit?
I just laid down the reality of the world around us right now. A profound episode. And now we're moving on.
Now we're moving on
to
the quarantine film. So, and he also suggests picking.
So read the question out. I didn't.
Anything to share on the quarantine film? Had any time to edit? Also, getting into the spooky season. So maybe you guys should pick a horror film to watch and chat about in the next ep, book club style.
Now, he's obviously talking about your quarantine film.
Stay at Home.
Stay at Home, which you shot during quarantine, absolutely by yourself, just you and your girlfriend, no help from anybody outside, and there'll be nobody in the credits other than the people that were on set, because it was shot 100% in quarantine during New Zealand's lockdown. And that movie has been sitting in post-production since the first lockdown.
That's right. So to answer your question, no, I haven't had time to edit it, but I am just about to have my term break. My term break starts next week. And I think that
I'm going to be back.
My term break starts next week, which gives me a whole chunk of free time, which I was going to sort of dedicate to continuing on with the older doco, but probably now what I plan to do is set aside one of those weeks to work exclusively on Stay at Home, get the edit done, and get it into post, which is obviously when I'll send some visual effects shots your way, and it'll sort of, I want to get it to the guy that's going to score it and stuff like that. So it's been in limbo, but as long as my PC build works out for me, Tyler, and it's all running nice and smoothly on it, then I plan to be editing that, if not next week, the week after, and sort of try and smash it out, because I'm very keen to get that one all wrapped up. So very excited too, because I'm actually, lots of things I edit I don't. I'm dreading, but this one I'm definitely not dreading. I'm quite excited to cut it. And Runs with Scissors have just said that if you read the comments there, Harley, you can know about your people's thoughts on your conspiracy theories.
Well, actually, I think you've misread that, mate. He says, someone get Harley some red string and some pins and a post-it note paper. And that's a reference to Charlie Day in that meme of him from whatever, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia or something. What's that show he's in? Yeah. And it's got all the things and he's connecting everything together. Yeah. And you know what? I get compared to Charlie Day all the time. I do. I swear to God, I've had that from multiple people. It's the voice. It's the voice that does it. It's a slightly too high voice.
And the manic conspiracy theory talk.
Hey, listen, man. It sounds like a conspiracy theory to people who don't understand the concepts. It's like science. It's like science, man. It sounds like magic if you don't understand it. You know. So, and runs with Scissors also says, ask Harley. No, hang on. Runs with Scissors says Harley's empty chair is more entertaining. Now that's not a slight at me. That's a slight at you. You were the one talking when he commented that. He or she commented that. They're saying that you're boring and my chair is more interesting. And then they say, ask Harley's chair if it believes in conspiracy theories. My chair definitely is an inanimate object.
I'm not sure you interpreted that comment correctly.
How else would you interpret Harley's empty chair is more entertaining?
The one before that.
Someone get Harley some red string.
No. Harley's empty chair is more entertaining.
Exactly. He's not saying that I'm not entertaining. He's saying that you talking is not entertaining by yourself.
I believe the implication.
He's being mean.
To you.
To you.
Can someone please clarify this? This is clearly
he's being mean to you.
He's saying Harley's chair, like, so when you're not here and it's just your chair, it's more entertaining without you.
That's obviously ridiculous, right? That's obviously just a mean out of context thing to say. Yeah, whereas it makes way more sense to say if you're talking about nonsense about what were you even talking about? What was your?
I was talking about while I was going short film. Stay at home.
So you're boring short film, and so you were talking about your boring short film, and they were like, well, Harley's empty chair is more interesting than this. So
it's
runs with Scissors is not chiming in yet, but clearly that's what they were saying. I've got some bad news for you, buddy. And now they feel too scared to comment because they know that they're going to alienate one or the other. Probably one.
Well. Okay, surely this is a good time to sign off now.
Oh, I was just getting started, mate. We've got 7 viewers now. All right.
Yeah, I mean,
we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, I do have some things to do.
All right.
Yeah, this is just step 1 of my day podcast. Step 2, work until 2 a.m. Step 3, wake up at 7:30 and go and teach. So, yes, probably time to wrap things up.
Well, I better go watch an episode of Dark then.
Yeah, and The Social Dilemma for anyone that hasn't seen it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you very much, everyone. The Harley will be here and his chair will be here next time. And you can take a vote.
Yeah, well, we'd love to hear even what the listeners think out on the actual podcast, the edited version of this podcast. Did they think it sounded? What's their interpretation of it? We want to know. Shout out to Huda Moss and Wazza and Mrs. Wazza listening out there in podcast land. Do let us know. What do you think? Let us know about these conspiracy theories, and also give us some feedback, some good, positive feedback. Tell us what you like about the show.
Yeah.
And also go along and watch Older the movie if you can, because our second feature film, Older, only just came out. It's only been out a few weeks, and we want you to go and watch it. It's available for free on Tubi. It's available on Amazon Prime if you're a subscriber.
For free.
It's available. Yeah, if you're a subscriber, it's free. Or you can buy it on Amazon Prime, or you can buy it on Google Play, or if you're in New Zealand, you can find it on Vimeo On Demand. Search for Older the Movie on Vimeo On Demand, and you can find it and buy it directly from us. And if you do that, if you happen to have a VPN over in wherever you were and you happen to do that, or if you happen to be a Kiwi,
Surfshark.
go... go and buy it directly from us. And you never know, you might make us millionaires, which would be quite good, nice for us. So go and watch that movie if you can. And also facebook.com/Guy and Harley and patreon.com/Pigville, and also search on YouTube for Pigville and the number 2, and you'll find us. And that is our YouTube channel, and we want you to subscribe and all of that stuff. So yeah, here we go. This is a little bit of this is an addendum to the addendum. We've got some feedback from Nocturnal. Yeah. I like the conspiracy theories, the arguments, and the stories of personal failure, and that's what this fucking show is. It's conspiracy theories, arguments, and stories of personal failure. Particularly the last part, the personal failure.
Got a lot of those stories, no doubt.
Yeah,
no doubt.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That is good to know. That's what I assumed, to be honest. Although I prefer to remove the term conspiracy theory and replace it with rant. Rant is much better. I mean, you tell me, people, weigh in. Have I gone off the deep end? Have I gone off the fucking deep end? Or what's the deal? Am I speaking truth? Am I a savant? Am I a fucking messiah? I'm pretty sure I'm a messiah. Right? Stick with me. I'll teach you all about it. Read the Unabomber Manifesto. I'll teach you all about it.
Follow Hitler.
No, learn about it. Learn about. Don't be a follower of Hitler. Don't do that. He was wrong. But learn about him, because it's very interesting to see how this all goes. Watch it develop. Watch it develop in America. The new Hitler. Watch it develop. Learn about it. Those who don't learn history are doomed to repeat it. Am I right? I'm right. I'm right.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. Some good interaction today. So, good stuff.
I like Harley's near stroke when he tries to tell everyone he isn't a conspiracy theorist. I'm not. I don't believe there's a conspiracy. I believe that we're out of fucking control, careening down a hill. We're a dump truck on fire, careening down a hill. Out of control is what we are. That's what's going on right now. And there's nobody at the helm. A conspiracy theory would make me feel great, but there's no driver. That's what this planet is. A dump truck careening down a hill on fire.
There's no Pizzagate. There's no Amazon child trafficking. It's just a dump truck careening down a hill.
That's life. That's a great place to end it.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone. We'll catch you.
Runs with scissors wants us to keep going. All right. We're
okay. Thanks, guys. We'll see you later. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the next one.